We are now on page 216, activity 1.18, creating a numbered list. So it says to scroll to page 1, so let's go up here to page 1. And it says go to the student government subheading. And in the paragraph that begins as a registered student, we want to go to the end of the paragraph after the colon and press enter to open up a blank paragraph here. And let's scroll up a little bit so that's a little more visible. And what we want to do is change the indentation. It wants us to move it back. The first line indentation here is half a line. It wants us to move it back to the left edge. So just drag the first line marker up there on the ruler. And now we're going to start typing our numbered list, and just like with bullets, it happens automatically. 1 period space. And as soon as you hit the space, it indents a little bit like it did with the bullets, puts a tab character in there, and it pulls up this little icon here that gives us our autocorrect options. And we can turn that off if we want to, but most of the time I think you're going to want to leave that on. It's pretty handy. And now we are supposed to flipping over to page 218, and we're supposed to type some text in here. So we're going to type pick. Whoops. And hit enter, and number 2 automatically comes up. Hit enter again. Number 3 automatically comes up. Hit enter again. Number 4 comes up. Now we've only got 3 things. So if you don't want number 4, the easy way to do this, he has your backspace, but I think it's easier just to hit enter. Now it gives you that blank line in there, and all you need to do to get rid of that blank paragraph is just hit the delete key, not the backspace key. We want to delete the paragraph mark, which is to the right of the cursor, so we have to hit delete. Okay. And it says to save our document, so we'll save our document. And now we want to customize bullets. We're going to do Control End to go to the end of the document, and it says scroll up as necessary to display the bulleted list of clubs, which would be this list right here. And we want to select all of them. And this time they tell us to right click, and from the shortcut menu we want to point to bullets right here, and in the bullet library we want the check mark. Here's the bullet library and here's the check mark, and go ahead and click on that. Now we're going to use the Format Painter again. We're going to go back up here. We're going to take that other list that we did a little bit ago, and we're going to make it into check marks as well. So go to the Format Painter over here, and I'm going to double click. That lets you do more than one thing if you want to do your Format Painter. And that way, in case I accidentally go too far or not far enough, I should still be able to fix it. Okay. And now it says scroll up to page 1. We're on page 1, and we want to save our document, and that turns Format Painter off. And now we're going to set some tab stops. We're on page 220, activity 1.20, setting tab stops. I want to scroll down to page 2. Here's page 2, and I want to select all of the items in the bulleted list here. Okay. And now we're going to do some tabs. And the tabs are indicated in this little box up here on the top of your vertical ruler. And we've got a number of options for tabs. The first 4 are actually tabs. The other things are markers for changing indentation, and we're not going to worry too much about those. If you pause the mouse, it should tell you what kind of a tab it is. That's a left tab. The upside down T is a center tab. The right one, or the backwards L, is a right tab. And the upside down T with a dot next to it is a decimal tab. And whatever you have visible here, if you click on the ruler, you'll set the corresponding tab stop at that location. And we want to flip through these until we get back to the left tab stop here. And then it tells us to click on the 3-inch mark on the ruler, which is right here. And notice default tab stops were these little hash marks down here, and they used to be over here at 1 and 1.5 and 2 and 2.5. But as soon as you set a tab, it's obvious you don't want anything before that, so it clears those out. It leaves the default tab stops over here. So this sets a left tab at the 3-inch mark, and if I click on it and look at the dotted line that it draws, I can see everything below left aligns at the 3-inch mark. Okay. And if you want to modify tab stops, we're on activity 1.21 now, and all you have to do is select the lines that you want to modify the tab stops for, and then you can drag this tab stop any place you want to and let go, and everything will be updated correspondingly. And the book says to move it to the 3.5-inch mark, and that's what we're going to do. Okay, now what we want to do is point to our tab stop right here and double click. And when you do, a tabs dialog box pops up. And if you have multiple tab stops, you select the one you want in here, and it automatically appears up here. Whatever's in this top box is the tab that you're modifying at the current time. And under the tab stop position here, we want to change that to 6 inches. And under alignment, we're going to change that to a right tab, which means the right edges will be aligned at the 6-inch mark. And we're also going to put in what's called a leader character, and we're going to use the dots for a leader. Click on set. Now it doesn't do a live preview for you. Oops, we need to get rid of that 3.5-inch mark as well. And let's try that again. Let's clear it. Now we're good. So now we got a 6-inch tab. It's a right tab stop, so things will be right aligned. We're putting a dot leader in. You don't really need to set. It does not do a live preview. You have to click on OK to see what it's going to look like. But now I've got a right tab. It's a backwards L up here at the 6-inch mark. If you click on it, the vertical line shows you that everything is right aligned underneath that point. And we had a dot leader, so Word automatically inputs dots between the characters on the left of the tab character and what it follows on the right side of the tab character. Okay. Now, it wants us to go down here and add another club here. We forgot the math club. So if I hit enter at the end of a paragraph, whatever the formatting for this paragraph was carries over to the next paragraph. So this paragraph had a check mark bullet, and I'm going to get a check mark bullet down here. It's got a right tab stop over at the 6-inch mark, and I've got a right tab stop over here. And now I just need to type in my text. Whoops. Got to be on the right line. Math club. And then tab, and I slide over that 6-inch mark. And this meets October 6th, 4 p.m., comma, in the math tutoring lab, comma, L35. And they tell us to save our document again. It's a good idea to save it every once in a while, so we will. And now we're on activity 1.22 under Objective 8, which is inserting a Smart Art graphic. And we do a Control Home to go to the top of the document. And go to the end of that line and hit Enter to create a blank paragraph. Now we're going to insert, so we go to the Insert tab, some Smart Art, which is in the Illustrations group, and click on that. And we get a bunch of choices. There's a whole bunch of different types of Smart Art here, and one of them is called Hierarchy. And so we're going to click on Hierarchy, and they all have labels. If you pause the mouse for a few seconds, you'll get the label. And we want Organization Chart, which is the first one. And then we're going to click on OK. And by default, it inserts something that looks like this. And what we have to do is we have to modify it. So now we're on activity 1.23. And if I click, I want to get rid of this one, so I just need to click on the handles. You see how that outline changes to a solid line from a dashed line? When it's a solid line, if I hit the delete key, it will go away. And I want to go down here and click on this one. I've got dotted lines. Click again, I get solid lines, hit delete, and it goes away. Okay, now we're ready to start putting text in here. There's two ways to do it. You can actually click on the box, and I'm going to do that for the first one. Notice how it automatically resizes things for us. The other way is, you see these little arrows over here. If I click on this little arrow over here, it will show me a little series of text lines over here with bullets, and I can type in what I want over here as well. So government, and hit the down arrow, and clubs, and now I can close this by clicking on the X up here. So there's two ways to enter text in here. Usually I think it's easiest just to click on the object and start typing. And now what we want to do is we want to resize the whole thing. So click on the outside here of the SmartArt, and we want to go to Format. And the size we want to make it is 2.5 inches high, so we got to drop that down a little bit. And we want the width to be 4.2, so we're going to drop that down a bit as well. And we're going to go to the Design tab, and we're going to click on Change Colors, and we're going to pick Colorful. We want the second style, this one right here. And on the Design tab in the SmartArt Styles group, we want to click on the down arrow here, and under 3D we want the one labeled Polished, which is the first one. Okay, and then all we need to do is, it has us type in some properties, but we don't need to worry about that. That's easy to do. That's a good place to stop.